Nzinga, the female warrior who built an empire while pretending to be a man in the early 1600s. On the west coast of Central Africa, a young girl was born into a world already on fire. Her name was Nzinga, and she would grow into one of the most formidable leaders the continent had ever seen. A woman who dressed as a man, ruled as a king, commanded armies, negotiated with European empires, and built a kingdom that defied colonization for nearly half century. But Nzinga's story didn't begin with power. It began with survival. She was born in 1583 in the kingdom of Ndongo, in what is now Angola. Her father was the king, and from a young age she was brought into the political world, not as a princess, but as a strategist. She sat in war councils. She listened to negotiations. She learned diplomacy, languages, and the art of psychological warfare. She was being shaped for a world that demanded strength, and she would need every ounce of it, because the Portuguese had arrived. They came with missionaries, soldiers, merchants, and a hunger for land and for people. The Atlantic slave trade was exploding, and Ndongo was caught in the middle of it. Villages were raided. Families were torn apart. The kingdom was destabilizing under the pressure of European expansion. Nzinga's brother, Bandi, inherited the throne, but his rule was fragile, and the Portuguese knew it. They demanded tribute. They demanded land. They demanded submission. And in 1622, they demanded negotiations. Bandi sent Nzinga. What happened next became one of the most iconic diplomatic moments in African history. When Nzinga arrived at the Portuguese governor's residence in Luanda, she found him seated on an elevated throne. But for her, the ambassador of a sovereign kingdom, there was no chair. She was expected to stand, to look up, to accept inferiority. Nzinga paused, then she turned to one of her attendants. He knelt on all fours. She sat on his back, eye level with the governor. A silent message echoed through the hall. I kneel to know. 1. The Portuguese were stunned, and Nzinga negotiated a peace treaty so favorable, so precise, and so strategically brilliant that even her enemies recorded it with respect. But diplomacy could only delay the inevitable back home. Her brother's rule was collapsing, rival factions were rising, and when he died, possibly by suicide, possibly by assassination, Nzinga took the throne. But there was a problem. Ndongo's political system allowed only men to rule as king, so Nzinga didn't become queen. She became king. She adopted male titles. She wore male clothing. She kept a royal court of male concubines, who she required to dress as women. To the Portuguese, this was shocking. To her people, it was a master stroke. Nzinga understood that power was not just held, it was performed, and she performed it flawlessly. But the Portuguese wanted Ndongo. They wanted its land, its resources, and its people, and they were willing to wage war to get them. Nzinga refused to surrender. She forged an alliance with the Imbangala, fierce nomadic warriors feared across Central Africa. She married an Imbangala warlord to secure their loyalty, and with their support, she launched a campaign that stunned the region. When the Portuguese pushed her out of Ndongo, she didn't fall. She moved east, regrouped, and conquered the kingdom of Matamba. Now she ruled 2 kingdoms, and she turned Matamba into a powerful, centralized state that controlled trade routes and military alliances. But Nzinga wasn't done. In 1641, the Dutch seized Luanda from the Portuguese. For Nzinga, this was the opportunity of a lifetime. She formed an alliance with the Dutch West India Company, combining African armies with European firepower. Together, they pushed the Portuguese back. Nzinga reclaimed territory. She freed enslaved people. She rebuilt her armies. And for a moment, a brief, brilliant moment, it looked like she might drive the Portuguese out of Central Africa entirely. But history turned against her. The Dutch were defeated in Brazil. Their empire collapsed, and they abandoned Africa. Nzinga was alone again. Most rulers would have surrendered. Most would have retreated. Most would have accepted defeat. Nzinga did not. Even in her 70s, she led armies into battle. She negotiated with rival kingdoms. She stabilized Matamba. She built schools, churches, and trade networks. She prepared her people for a future without her. And in 1656, after decades of war, she signed a peace treaty with Portugal, not as a defeated ruler, but as an equal. Nzinga died in 1663 at around 80 years old. Her kingdom survived long after her. Her legacy survived even longer to the Portuguese. She was a threat to her people. She was a protector to history. She is a reminder that power is not given, it is taken. Nzinga was not a myth, not a legend, not a symbol. She was a strategist, a warrior, a king, and one of the most extraordinary leaders the world has ever seen. This is Obscura Explained.